Why Iran and Saudi Arabia are irreconcilable enemies. Iran and Saudi Arabia have been waging proxy wars for decades. Their rivalry has dragged the region into chaos. It ignited the Sunni-Shia conflict in the Middle East. It all happened due to a chain of events, from countless revolutions to the wars in Syria and Yemen. But it hasn't always been this way. Before 1979, Iran and Saudi Arabia had good relationships. Both countries were governed by pro-Western monarchs. The 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran changed everything. Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was overthrown. He was replaced by Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini returned to Iran after 15 years of exile. He openly opposed the idea of monarchy. He considered it un-Islamic. He was also hostile toward Western-backed governments. The self-proclaimed leader alarmed the Saudi regime. In 1980, a CIA report was leaked. It indicated that Iran was trying to spread the revolution to neighboring countries. Protests flared up in Shia-majority Qatar. People took to the streets with pictures of Khomeini. They were violently suppressed by security forces. At least 20 people died, and hundreds were arrested. The Gulf Cooperation Council was created in response to the Iranian threat. It's an alliance between 6 Gulf monarchies. Then there was the Iran-Iraq War. In 1980, Saddam Hussein invaded Iran. He feared that the Iraqi Shia majority would overthrow his regime. 2 years into the war, Saudi Arabia started to provide aid to Hussein. In 1987, the holy city of Mecca was defiled by death and violence. Iranian pilgrims held anti-US demonstrations. This led to new clashes with Saudi security. At least 400 people died in the crackdown. Following these events, Saudi Arabia cut diplomatic ties with Iran for 3 years. Over the next decades, they had their ups and downs. But the 2011 Arab Spring changed the geopolitical situation. Iran and Saudi Arabia supported opposing sides in regional conflicts. Iran expressed support for the revolutions in Tunisia, Egypt, and Bahrain. These countries were run by Sunni dictators. They maintained friendly relations with the Saudis. The rebellion in Syria also saw Iran and Saudi Arabia on opposite sides. Saudi Arabia stood with the opposition. Iran allied with the regime. Since 2011, Iran has been supplying it with weapons, troops, and training. The ongoing Syrian civil war has been devastating. Over 6 million Syrians have been displaced. More than 500,000 have been killed. And then there is the Yemeni civil war. It has been underway since 2014. A Saudi-led coalition is fighting against Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. Yemen is in the midst of its worst humanitarian crisis. 12 million children are in need of food, water, and shelter. The country is plagued by epidemics and famine. Saudi Arabia has even directly engaged in a conflict. It has launched airstrikes and imposed a blockade. It prevents critical aid from getting into the north of the country. Iran and Saudi Arabia have never fought a direct war, but their proxy battle further devastates and divides the Middle East.